Shalom everyone, it's Kol Torah at 12, and today we are going to discuss Parashat Toldot, basically descendants, and we're going to speak about Abraham gave birth to, as we know, to Yitzchak and to Ishmael as well, but Ishmael was rejected, and now we have Yitzchak. Yitzchak got married with Rivka, that was last week's parasha, and now they have children. They have Yaakov and Esav, Jacob and Esau. And today I would like to focus a little bit about education in general and about Jewish education and what I will call parenting. And there is something very interesting that I would like to share with you. And the idea really comes from Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, and we will take his words and we will expand on them to send some messages that I think will be very relevant to our days. The Torah says, "Vayigdelu hane'arim," and the children, the youth, they grew up. And then, Vayi Esav ish yodei tzayid ish sadeh, Esav became a hunter, a man who knows the field. V'Yaakov ish tam yoshev ohalim, and Yaakov is someone who sits in the tent. According to the Midrash, he is the one to study Torah. And what I will call a very passive guy, a nice guy who sits in the tent, is not going out there to hunt and to chase animals. As we know, the Torah does not try to avoid or to hide criticism on our forefathers. Not because we have no respect, God forbid, to our forefathers and to our biblical figures, but rather because the Torah thinks that we can learn something from their lives, from what they did and from what they did not do right. If we view the Torah as a book of chinuch, a book of education that teaches us what to do and sometimes even more importantly, what not to do. So we can look at this verse, and that's the way Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch looks at this verse, and he's sending us the following message. He says, "B'shum makom lo nimneu chachameinu milegalot chulshot ushgiot." He says, there is no place in the Tanakh that the Talmud and our sages try to prevent from passing some constructive criticism on acts and deeds that were done by our forefathers. Davka al yedei kach, he says, specifically because of that, egdilu Torah, they increased the light of Torah, ve'e'ara ve'ediru et likcha ledorot, and they increased the message, the lesson, the lekach for generations. Therefore, Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch looks at this verse and says, there is a problem. When you look at the verse, it says, "Vayigdelu hane'arim," and the children grew up, and then there was a very sharp, very clear, distinct difference between two of them. Esav became a hunter, and Yaakov became a Torah scholar. And Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch says, something was wrong with the education. From the fact that only when the children grew up, you could see that split, it means that something was wrong when they were really young. Reb Shimshon Raphael Hirsch looks at Yitzchak and Rivka and he says they made a little bit of an educational mistake. The fact that one son became a hunter and one son became a Torah scholar, the fact that there is such a split, such a difference of light and darkness, day and night, it seems to be that something was wrong prior to them growing up. It's not that one son became a lawyer, the other son became a doctor. One son became a teacher, the other son became a CPA. No, one is a hunter, one is a Torah scholar. How come, says Reb Shimshon Raphael Hirsch, that you can have such a split, such a difference? Come Reb Shimshon Raphael Hirsch and says the following idea. Yitzchak and Rivka thought that because they have twins, it seems to be that they're probably very similar to each other. They probably have the same inclinations. They probably have the same attitudes. They probably have the same feelings. They probably have the same interests in things. So what do? They put both of them on the same bench and taught them the same things, thinking that they have the same parents, they have the same atmosphere, they are living and growing up at the same house. Probably when they grow up, they will be the same. But it's not true. Shlomo HaMelech, King Solomon, the wisest person on earth, HaChacham Mikol Adam, said, Chanoch lana'ar al pi darko. We should educate our children according to their way, not according to what we think they are, but rather we need to sit with our children. We need to get to know them. We need to talk to them. We need to, in a way, to tailor-made the educational system to them so we can influence them. Rabbi Shimshon Raphael Hirsch says that if Yitzchak and Rivka would know that and will educate Esav in the way that he needs to be educated and educate Yaakov in the way that he had to be educated, maybe our history will be totally different. And maybe there was a chance for Esav to turn and to be not ish tzad, ish tzadeh, not to be a hunter, a man who is bloody, a man who is after the blood and the terror, but rather a person who can partner with Yaakov and do the right things. I think it's a very relevant message to us. There is no one shape, not one form, one framework for all the children to learn. Not in a family, and obviously not in a community or in a school or in a shul. Every child is a world by its own. Every adult is different. As we know, God created us in a different way. We think differently. Things that impressed one do not impress the other. Things that someone can be very intellectually enhanced, the other one will look at that and say, what's going on here? We need to know the people that we teach. We need to know their soul, not only their intellectual achievements. We need to know their midot, their attributes. We need to know their neshama. And when you know that, the way we educate will really be fruitful. And what we will be able to accomplish will be really endless. Thank you.